morning. Today is March the 3rd here in Georgia at the beginning of the Appalachian Trail, or southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. And as you can see, it is a nasty rainy day. When I got out of the car, it was about 50 degrees. It's been hovering up and down between 49 and 50. And on the road, visibility was about 20 feet. It is fogged in today, so if you're out here today or starting, sorry for the conditions. But the good news is, tomorrow it is going to be sunny, warming up both Saturday and Sunday, and Monday is going to hold in there, but then again the rain returns on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think it tapers off on Friday, cools down a little bit, and then the weekend is going to be cleared up, so you should do pretty good if you're starting next weekend down at Springer Mountain or at Amicalola Falls. And as always, I'll put the little forecast tab in here from Suches. I think that still gives you a good indication of what you're going to be seeing when you start at either Springer Mountain or down at Amicalola Falls State Park. And today I'm at Gooch Gap. I'm going to check out the section that my wife and I take care of. I got to meet the Ridge Runner, or not meet, but Lily. Got to say hello again and see you out here. Thanks for all you're doing. And one of the forest workers was with her as well, and got to catch up, talk about trail conditions.
What's
so
up, guys?
hey man, happy trails.
Hey man.
Sorry for that little gap, but got to talk with Prado Hikes, and we'll check out his channel. He said he is enjoying the information we're putting out there and found it helpful. So that's cool to meet somebody that has seen our videos and finding it helpful. We're gonna head on up the trail here, going south toward Gooch Mountain Shelter, and like I said, this is my section to maintain, so we'll see what things look like on the trail here. And this today should be not the kind of weather you're going to have the rest of the week, other than middle of the week. So we'll see what it looks like out there. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's some of the wind that was forecasted for today, and definitely need to be a little careful. And I think everybody knows this, but you know, always think about where you set up your camp, your tent, your hammock, and look for those widowmaker tree limbs and trees that fall down. And obviously, you know, we see plenty of trees all the time like this one right here that have fallen, and those are usually pretty big windstorms that do that kind of damage, but it happens. Obviously, you know, in the woods things fall, so you know, take those warnings to heart, and definitely think about where you set up your tent or your hammock, and be aware of the conditions. You know, Georgia this time of year, spring can get really nasty as far as thunderstorms, and even just the high winds, but you know, occasionally we get some tornadoes up in these higher elevations, and it's nothing to play around with. Thunderstorms and lightning, of course, are probably a bigger danger. And you know, if you're trying to be the safest, you know, I think it's always wise to camp near shelter, and that way if the conditions really get bad at night or when you're there, you can crawl in that shelter and tell folks, hey, let me get in here and get out of the conditions. And those structures are amazingly well made, and if you look at a lot of them, they've been here a long time, and they've weathered a lot of really rough conditions. So don't mess around with the weather in Georgia. It can get pretty nasty pretty quick, especially, you know, our thunderstorms turn into nasty conditions fast in the evenings, and possible tornadoes at night when we have, you know, just the right conditions. So always be careful out here, be safe. I think you can see this section of the trail here, the treadway, is in really good shape, even though we've had a good bit of rain lately, and especially last night and today. And it's draining well, and tomorrow with the sun it should dry up pretty quick. So I think most people will have pretty good conditions. I know there's sections you know, everywhere, of course, that get pretty, you know, sloppy from just all the foot traffic this time of year. This little area right here I probably need to work on and try to drain it a little bit, but it's pretty nasty as far as, you know, making it sloppy, but it's short-lived, so no big deal. All right, I made it out to Gooch Mountain Shelter, and quite a few people out here, and it is still fogged in, but things look good at the shelter, and I'll check out the preview on the water source, let you know how that's looking. Preview is looking pretty good, staying clean. Thanks everybody. All right, the water flow is doing okay. It's not as good as it was a week or two ago when I was out here at Gooch Mountain Shelter, but right there's the pipe, and the creek's got pretty good water in it, so you should be fine for filling up water. And just south of here, the creek is even bigger, so that would be a good choice. But definitely fill up here because there's not a lot of water from here really all the way to Woody's Gap. There is one water source at Gooch Gap, but it's a good ways off the trail. That little creek usually has pretty decent water in it, but I would definitely fill up here at Gooch Mountain Shelter, and that'll get you at least to Woody Gap. And you can see the conditions really hadn't changed that much today. So this day is one of those days. There's quite a few people up at the shelter. Up there, I'm still at Gooch Mountain Shelter, fixing to head back to the car. And I'll put the weather forecast up there again. And like I said earlier, tomorrow, Saturday, the 4th and the 5th on Sunday is going to be really nice, sunny all day, so things should dry out really nice. The temps are getting on up into the 50s and 60s. I think the high for this week is a 65, and towards Friday the low is 24. So you're still going to need puffies, rain gear, shorts, sunscreen. You're going to need it all this coming week. So this is the water source at Gooch Gap where the road crosses, and if you run out of water, this is definitely a great source for water. This little stream is flowing very well right now, but it's about a quarter mile off the trail, so just know that if you trek down here. But fantastic water right now, and there's nothing until you get to Woody Gap. All right, we're over here at Woody's Gap now, so I'm at a little bit of different elevation, but you can see it's even further socked in over here at the gap. And this gap is always a great place to kind of tell what the weather's doing as far as the wind. And I was able to get reception, and right now they're saying anywhere between 13 and 22 mile an hour wind gust, and definitely gonna need to have all your rain gear on today. But like I said earlier, and I'll put the forecast up here again, not that you can't pull it up yourself. As always, be safe, be kind, happy trails.